at these large tanks at the top of the hill and then released like that on cue. You've seen this before if you've seen the movie Big Fat Liar with Paul Giamatti, Frankie Muniz, and Amanda Bynes. That area right over there is called Old Mexico, also the location for Criminal Minds Beyond Borders and Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. They used part of Old Mexico to become Tortuga. But we're being washed out of Old Mexico right now and right here into the Old West. Welcome to 6 Points, Texas, y'all. And on your left-hand side, you're looking at some of the oldest sets that we have here. It's called 6 Points, Texas, because there's actually a main road right over there on that other side parallel to us, and 6 small side streets that branch out. That's how it got its name, 6 Points. Now these have been standing here pretty much since the beginning, so they've been here for several decades when silent movies were still a thing. Now with those silent films, because sound didn't matter, they weren't capturing that to begin with, you could have a bunch of different productions going on at the same time. In fact, on every single one of those 6 streets, you would have 6 different productions. They would set up bleachers, they'd have people come there and watch, they would cheer for the heroes, they would boo for the villains. It was a really fun time. But then, once sound was introduced into films, they couldn't do that anymore. That's how sound stages became a thing, and that's why a lot of the times when you're on set, like I mentioned on the load line, if we're driving by something that's filming, we gotta make sure that all the sound near it is gonna be as quiet as possible. Now these sets, it's really interesting because they're actually undergoing a little bit of a renovation right now. Since they've been standing here for so long, we want to make sure that they stay structurally sound, cosmetically appealing for a lot of the other productions that are going to be coming in here. These were definitely used a lot in the heyday of Westerns. The Duke himself, John Wayne, filmed a lot of his movies right here on these Western sets. Audie Murphy, Jimmy Stewart. But not just Westerns, you know. They're not quite as popular right now as they were a few decades ago, but these sets get used all the time. A great example of one of the more modern productions that filmed here somewhat recently includes Saving Mr. Banks. They used our Western sets to become turn of the century Australia. Also an episode of Castle, that aired on ABC, starred Nathan Fillion and Stana Katic. There was an episode where there was a honeymoon on a dude ranch. This is the dude ranch. Now if you're looking on the sides of these buildings, you'll notice they're also facades like they are on those Metro sets. But take a closer look to any of the brick that you see. None of that is real brick. Not a piece of it. It is fiberglass. The reason they do that is because it's a lot easier to build with those materials, meaning it's going to be a lot easier to change for all the different